Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack a stack of sources, help you get quickly informed.
And today, we're diving into something. Well, something a lot of you might be feeling.
Exactly. These surprising shifts, maybe even challenging ones, happening in your relationships, with family, partners, friends. Our main source today is an article by Vidya Frazier called Relationships Are Shifting from the Era of Light platform.
Right.
And our mission really is to explore this core idea she presents, that all this personal relationship turbulence, it's not just random.
No, the claim is it's directly connected to something much bigger, a global transformation.
Specifically, the source suggests Earth has recently moved into what it terms a fifth dimension.
And a much higher frequency reality. That's the language used. It's quite a statement.
It really is. And the idea is that this shift, this higher frequency, it's like a spotlight.
Yeah, a spotlight showing up. Everything that wasn't really working in our relationships all along, things maybe we papered over.
You might be feeling that intensification now, right? Even after navigating, the recent tough times, COVID, political stuff with loved ones.
Definitely. And what I found particularly striking was this focus on emotional trigger surfacing.
Yeah, triggers within us, but also in the people close to us. Things we maybe hadn't seen before.
Exactly. The source suggests that maybe to keep the peace or just make things work, we've been, holding back.
Holding back on expressing what we really need or want or believe.
Pretty much. Our needs, desires, expectations, beliefs. And now, this perspective says, those things are demanding to be heard. They won't stay buried.
Which brings us to that crucial concept the source really hammers home.
Yes. That in this new higher frequency reality, let's call it a more refined energetic state.
We are, and this is a quote, no longer allowed to continue on in patterns in which we are not fully honoring ourselves.
It's like an energetic push towards radical self-honesty.
So we're finding we have to be clearer about who we are, what matters to us.
We must, yeah. Even if it's uncomfortable or seems like it might shake up the relationship at first.
And the result is all those differences, the misunderstandings we maybe ignored.
They're coming up, rise into the surface. They need acknowledging, processing, can't sweep them under the rug anymore.
And source is clear. This isn't always easy. It can cause real discomfort.
Oh, absolutely. For some, it mentions deep despair, even fear, anger. Quite intense emotions.
Leading to breakups sometimes, or this sort of unhappy distancing.
Yes, and people feeling completely stunned, blindsided by how sudden it all feels. It really highlights the impact on just daily life.
Okay, so why? Why this massive shakeup according to this view?
Well, the article frames it as part of an ascension.
Ascension, okay, so like a spiritual evolution, raising our vibration.
Exactly, for individuals and for the planet collectively. But while it's seen as ultimately good, the source is very direct. It's not an easy or comfortable process.
Makes sense. It's challenging because all the low frequency stuff.
Yeah.
Old patterns, beliefs, buried needs.
Everything buried in the unconscious. It's needing to be seen now and released, like a cosmic clear out.
A cosmic clear, I like that. And there's that intriguing contradiction the source mentions.
Oh, right, the dual experience.
Yeah, on one hand, you might surprise yourself, handle things better than expected, feel stronger, wiser, more able to just flow.
But then on the other hand, you can get totally caught off guard.
And fall back into old habits. Denial, anger, blame, self-pity.
Exactly. Before finding your way back to, that higher frequency state.
Frazier suggests trusting the process gets easier if we remember the goal.
Which is?
That ascension basically involves a process of transmuting old frequencies, beliefs, emotions, and habits into a higher frequency of light, turning dense into light.
Right, transformation, and zooming out again, connecting it to the bigger picture.
This is where it gets really profound, I think. The idea that we have somehow signed up for this.
Signed up to purify these old energies, not just ours, but ones that have plagued humanity for ages.
Yeah, it positions our personal stuff within this huge collective mission.
Which leads to thinking about our role in, quote, birthing a whole new earth and reality for humanity to live in.
Which the source calls a profound and extremely complex mission.
So these difficult relationship changes, they're actually part of that mission.
That's the idea, tasking us with reevaluating our connections, and if needed, up-leveling them. It really puts personal struggles in a vast context, doesn't it?
It really does. So given that framework, the source talks about two main paths relationships might take now.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, if both people involved can manage to shift, to find that higher frequency within themselves.
And find a deeper love for themselves and for the other person too.
Exactly. If that happens, the relationship itself naturally shifts. It moves to a higher frequency.
And love becomes richer, clearer.
Richer, clearer, yeah. And people feel freer to be themselves, more honest.
Leading to a much more honest relationship could happen fast, could take time, it says.
Right. And then there's the second path.
For when things just aren't resolving.
Precisely. The guidance then is maybe it's time to let go. Not necessarily of the person, but of holding on to the relationship as it was.
So relax the grip and just watch, see what happens naturally.
Kind of. And the article brings in this concept that timelines are really splitting now.
Timeline splitting, meaning people's paths, their energies are diverging, maybe quite sharply.
That's the idea, which could mean separating even from people we love deeply because you're just heading in different directions, energetically speaking.
Wow. So in that case, the advice is
to let them go where they need to go, trusting they're being guided to where they have the best chance to evolve as souls. It's a very different take on separation.
It is. But there's a comforting point here too, right? About the love itself.
Oh, absolutely crucial. The source emphasizes that the love we have had for the people we've been in relationship with need never change.
If it's real love, it doesn't leave us.
Never leaves us. It's just the form of the relationship, how it existed before, that might need to change. Or maybe just fade away.
So the essence remains, even if the structure dissolves. That is reassuring.
Very. So if a relationship does end, the message is trust. Trust you're being guided correctly.
Guided towards that higher vibrational reality.
Yes. Where eventually the promise is we'll find relationships with more freedom, more wholeness, more power to just be who we are.
And as we go through this, maybe rocky process,
Yeah.
we start seeing others on the same path.
We start seeing those who are taking this ride with us, people who've also risen in frequency, people who are probably, on the same page about most things.
And this could be old friends, partners, family, but also new people.
Both, yes. Old and new connections. These are the ones with whom we'll be walking into the fifth dimension. That's how the source puts it.
So, okay, let's bring this back to you, the listener. What does all this mean?
Well, this deep dive suggests that maybe the discomfort, the disorientation you might feel in relationships, it isn't just personal.
It could be reflecting this bigger planetary shift.
Yeah.
One that's demanding more self-honoring, more authenticity from us.
That's the perspective offered, yes. It's challenging, for sure, but also ultimately hopeful, maybe.
Hopeful in how we navigate it, either by lifting our connections up or by letting go gracefully.
And trusting that real love lasts, just maybe in a different form.
Right.
Which leads us to a final thought to leave you with. If, and it's a big if our world is shifting into higher frequencies, like this source says,
requiring deeper truth from us,
then how do we actively cultivate that deeper love for ourselves and for the other person? The thing Fraser highlights as key for evolving harmoniously.
especially when that evolution might mean changing bonds or even letting them go.
Exactly. What might that actually look like practically in your day-to-day interactions? Something to ponder.